I just wanted to do a short chat about how I think some people who like believe in justice and believe in like the equity of their word are very disappointed when a lot of people just say things that that they think that they want people to hear, or things that they think sound polite at the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't just say things because you think it sounds good. Don't say things because you think it's what other people want to hear. And I realized, like with myself, I used to get so frustrated with these people. I'd be like, why are they saying these things? Like, why do they say like something, and then the next time you talk to them, they're like, well, I didn't really mean that. I just said that because I thought it'd make you feel good. But you see, if you are a person that believes in justice and equity, like, you're going to feel very annoyed by that. Well, the first thing you have to tell yourself is this: you're only accountable for yourself. And yes, you wish you could take people at their word, you really do, but you can't take everybody at their word. So yeah, it takes me a long time to like trust people after I have experiences with some people that would say things and then I find out that they don't mean what they say. And I don't trust people easily, and I think that's actually a good thing, because you don't want to trust people easily. I know some people say, well, oh, you should trust people easily and believe in the kindness of people. And it's not that I don't think that there's kind people anymore. I just think a lot of people will take advantage of you by telling you things that they think you want to hear, like so that they can get something to their benefit. Like sometimes people will think, like, I hate to say it, but even though you're a human being, sometimes they'll think that they can just use you like, I don't know, like you're an object. Like, that's kind of the truth. Like, I finally came to this realization that some people, they want what they want, and they want companionship, or they want like conversation at a certain time when it befits them. But then later, when they don't want it, like, they're kind of in a conundrum. So you just have to be very investigative with these people. And yes, you're probably not going to trust a lot of people for a long time. And then when you meet new people who aren't like that, like, you won't trust them for a while. But to me, you need to be very, very careful. And yes, your word has power. Everything you say should be something that you want to do, that you plan to do. And I always think, if you're a person who doesn't have a good intention or an actualization of doing the things that you say, then maybe you should have some self-reflection on that. Some people, they just don't do any self-reflection. Like, they don't think, they don't try to think in their mind, and I realize, like, okay, it's good to be somebody who's in your mind, who thinks things. There's no such thing as overthinking, by the way. Overthinking is not true. People who underthink will think you underthink. But yeah, don't trust people. Like, if people say something, don't trust them right away. Give them a good year and a half. Like, I don't know, like, they're on probation, okay? Like, people are on probation for you. Like, they need to consistently prove themselves to you over time. I know that probably sounds unfair, and some people are like, well, why are you so rigid? It's just because, like, in past experiences, if I met somebody and they weren't consistent, and they would say one thing one day, and then the next day they were like, well, I didn't really think that. I just wanted to tell you that because, I wanted to talk, or I needed companionship in that moment. I put people on a 1.5 to 2 years probation now, just to see, like, if their behavior is consistent over time. And yeah, I'm getting super rigid too. Like, if early on, like, somebody just, not that I need people to make me happy, I really don't. I make myself happy. But if early on, like, I'm interacting with someone and they do something that just seems disrespectful to me, I'm kind of writing them off. Unless they're gonna, like, have a really good explanation as to why they did that, Like, changing plans. Like, if somebody is willing to change plans with you at the last minute, just write it off. Like, it's done. Like, obviously that person doesn't have any integrity for your time. They think that you're somebody that they can blow off. So if somebody does that to you, like if they say, oh, I'm sorry, like I had to change the plans, or they just act like it's no big deal that they made like some sort of like appointment or something, or whatever it is, like just write that off. Because people who do that, that's like a hallmark of someone who doesn't have good intentions. And the funny thing was, like, I used to give people a pass on that. I'd be like, oh, well, maybe they just were busy. And no, nobody's that busy, okay? Nobody is that tied up. It's just a lot of people don't have integrity. And if you're a person of your word, everything you utter, everything you say, every intention that you have should come from a place of actualization, that you want to do those things. And people who actually have integrity only say what they mean, and they do what they say. I want to do everything I say. Like, if I say that I want to do something, it wants to be something I will do. I don't want to just go around spewing things that I think might sound good or might be fun to say, because that's just unjust. And you're doing a lot of injustice in the world. And not that we should take people at their word, but if somebody tells you things, or they say they want to do something and they make a plan, like only make plans and only utter things that are your intentions. If something's not your intention, don't say it. Like, but then on the other side of the token, don't believe people. Like, give them 1.5 to 2 years. Put people on a really rigid probation, and they might not like it. But I'm like, you know what? You need to earn my trust over time. Does that sound so horrible that I don't trust people? I just don't trust people. Like, yeah, I don't trust people. I put them on a probationary time period just to see, like, okay, do they have integrity? Do they mean what they say? And yeah, like, I start to realize, like, yeah, there are people in the world, but is my trust not completely solidified with someone, even if they are trustworthy and they're been integrity? Like, yeah, I'm sorry that, like, maybe past experiences made me not trust people that do have integrity, but I just want to be careful, for myself. So I always say, yeah, it might kind of suck when you meet someone that has integrity and that all their words, like every intention that they say, they follow through on. But sometimes you just have to be careful, because if in past experiences people weren't, didn't have integrity with you and just said whatever like popped into their head, you just kind of have to be careful and say, you know what, I'm going to see. I'm going to be really careful. And I'm like, yeah. But being careful is kind of cool too, because I feel like, especially as a woman, you're worth it. Because a lot of men, I hate to say it, but if you're kind of like a nicer, like just more of a subdued woman, there are some men, and this is not me being a feminist, but there's a lot of men who think that they can pull that crap with women that are just more, like, they think, oh, she'll kind of just take it. She's not going to call me out on it. Like, but you don't have to be a bitch to call someone out on it. You can just be like, oh, okay, I see that you, like, said something, but you didn't follow through. Hasta luego. And this is we say hasta luego to all bad behavior, because it's not worth your time of day. It's not worth you anything. Like, don't even fret over it. Like, and if I could tell my younger self, like, we are not enticed by people who have no good intentions. We are not enticed by people who can't keep their schedule. We are not, like, enthralled by people who say one thing and do another. That's what I would tell my younger self. And sometimes it can kind of be tricky, like, with the bad boys, like, you could be a good girl and, oh, you see, like, a guy that's handsome and he can kind of trick you, and it kind of confuses your mind. You're like, oh, I think he's cute. Don't ever go with that, okay? Like, his being cute is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Is he a person of integrity? Absolutely not. If he's not a person of integrity, who gives a crap? Like, just, like, I've never had a really bad guy experience, because I just haven't met people like that, but just in the past where I would meet people that were loosey-goosey, and they would say one day one thing, and then the next day, like, they didn't follow through. Like, it's more stuff like that, but I blame myself for not just, like, writing all that off in the beginning. Because if somebody, like, the earliest indicator is if somebody just acts like your time doesn't mean anything. That's when you just do the write-off. And if that person wants to come back later and have a legitimate explanation about why they wanted to reschedule, and it's not just lame, and it's not just like, oh, I thought, like, your schedule changed because my schedule changed, or something stupid. Like, if it's not stupid and they actually want to show you, like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that, like, I know your time is valuable and precious, and I love your time because I want to spend time with you. Like, if they have integrity like that, then yes, I will definitely give them a second chance. But, like, just I realized, yeah, if somebody's just wishy-washy, like, no, just be like, done. And even if you have a slight twinge, you're like, oh, why did that happen? Dismiss it out of your mind, because a person like that only thinks about themselves and their own agendas. And we want people of integrity in our lives. We want people that are just. We want people that keep their word. And in doing so, you're going to find people that always keep their word, and your word is everything. The end of the story. Bye.